A very good afternoon to everyone present here. On behalf of the Symbiosis College of Arts and Commerce, Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, and Institutions Innovation Council, I, Astha Kumar, welcome you all to the talk show with Shark Tank India finalists. The Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship endeavors to foster an entrepreneurial ecosystem in the college and provides the students with a platform for starting their own ventures. The college has also constituted Institutions Innovation Council as per the guidelines of Government of India's Ministry of Education, with a vision of infusing innovative and entrepreneurial acumen amongst the students. The center is also a beneficiary of the RUSA grant received by the college for entrepreneurship and skill development, and this event has also been possible because of the same. Through today's interactive session with Mr. Advait Namke and Mr. Aditya Rai, the founders of the Nomad Food Project, our objective is to imbibe and ignite the entrepreneurial acumen of our students and share the amazingly inspiring entrepreneurial journey and insights of our fair nation's young and dynamic startup founders, while taking our attendees through the roller coaster journey of an entrepreneur on Shark Tank India. They have chosen to stand out from the crowd through their ventures and pave a new way for themselves and all those around them. I am pleased to inform that we have with us our Head of Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, Dr. Shirayou Bhakre. I invite ma'am to kindly address the students.
Thank you, Asta. So I'm not going to take much time, just 2 minutes to welcome once again Advait and Aditya. Welcome to Symbiosis College of Arts and Commerce. So through this particular platform, Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, we bring in front of students entrepreneurs who've dared to be different. So we want them to know from the experiences of people like you, young, dynamic entrepreneurs like you, how is it to be an entrepreneur? And most importantly, through this session, we would like them to know that how is it to be there, in front of the sharks. So there are a lot of things which we teach in the class with respect to how to prepare a business plan, how to do product designing, how to develop your product, how to also pitch a product. But I think what we saw in Shark Tanks was an amazing experience. Amongst all the participants, I think yours was the only team where all sharks wanted to invest. And that was something really, really amazing. And I think there has been, so you've been, now you are looked at as Advait and Aditya, and I'm so proud of both of you because I know you all personally. It's such a moment of pride for us to know that young entrepreneurs like you are there, and you all are facing the sharks so confidently, and also they all wanted to invest. So of course Gautam is going to take forward with y'all, with a lot of questions. But on behalf of Symbiosis College of Arts and Commerce, I welcome you here on behalf of our principal, Dr. Rishikesh Soman, our vice principal, Tessie Thadathil ma'am. We would like you to be there and inspire our students, and you all are there, and I'm sure you all are going to leave us to school our students spellbound with your experiences. And I also hope that a lot of our students who've joined, so we have almost now 90 students who've joined, and I'm sure there would be more students who would be here. I just hope that few of our students take from your experiences, learn from your experiences, and inspire to become entrepreneurs ahead. So welcome once again, Advait, and welcome once again, Aditya. And over to you, Gautami.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Just a minute, Gautami. So before we go ahead, I would like to introduce our speakers for today, Mr. Advait Namke and Mr. Aditya Rai. They are the founders of the Nomad Food Project, and they both have graduated from the Institute of Hotel Management, Mumbai. They collaborated to create a product that would solve the tedious process of making breakfast in India. What started off as a research project for them turned into a venture that attracted the interest of all the seven sharks on Shark Tank India. Their venture combines their ingenuity in food innovation while creating a product that caters to food on the go. It is our privilege to have them with us today, and we are sure that everyone present here will be able to glean valuable insights from their journey. I would now like to hand over the platform to Gautami.
Thank you so much, Asta. Good evening, everybody. And I was genuinely looking forward to the session because I think I was constantly in touch with Advait sir. I was doing my research in terms of the food line that they have and the products that they had. And I was really intrigued the moment I read something like bacon thetsa and this prawns thetsa. And I just couldn't wait to talk to you all. So before we dive deep into this entire thing, like ma'am said a few minutes back, your names also sort of sink in, right? So for an breaker, like a quick this thing, how did this partnership sort of happen? Because we at CI are a very tight team and we love to work with each other. And that partnership, it plays a very important role. So how do actually find the right person to work with, and how did you two go about with it?
Well, we were in, well, since it started from college, so we were in the same class in college, and we were bakery partners. So I guess that's why that's where it kind of started, where we first started working with each other on the same table. But yeah, I mean the name is just a coincidence because the in the bakery thing they basically it's like roll call wise and by the letters of your name.
I think because of the names we met.
Yeah,
because it's like alphabetically AD. So we were like paired together to work. And yeah, we just became friends from the first go. But like when you're seeing like a good partner, we never had the thing in our head like we have to do business. It was towards the end of the third year, towards the end of our college, we decided that we'll do business together. So in good partner, I would say like similar interests would be like a very good thing. Similar interests, similar thought processes, yeah, and similar aspirations, similar aims. That will be like the major things if you're looking for a good partner.
Yeah, I mean something like a vision that you guys share together for the company and for yourselves as such too. So as long as that is synced and there's not much of disparity between that, I'd say uh it's like half work done over there,
Yeah.
and then it's just getting your operations in line and everything else other than related to the product and the business then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that was a wonderful. I mean, it is not like an over the top sort of a thing, but you started from class and getting
Yeah.
featured on the first edition of Shark Tank India. So the first question to y'all is that you were recently featured in the first edition of Shark Tank India, as mentioned, but I'm sure the journey wasn't as easy as people imagine it to be. So we would like to know how it all started and what was the basic idea, how, actually the ideation, the prototyping maybe, and how is it going right now? So we would like to know the entire journey of Nomad Food Project.
Of Nomad. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, like you said, like it did start off as a research project for us, and so since then we would take it out to a lot of restaurateurs and hoteliers to kind of as a part of our research paper. So that's when people used to want to buy it from us at that point only. And at that time we were like, no, this is just like a part of our college research, we're not really as such thinking of it as a business point of view at that point. But we went through a jury and people who are basically judging us on the paper and on the project, and they kind of pushed us towards this after we got like the best research during the college like seminars and all of that bit. And so that's when it happened, and then after that is when we started off with it. And initially we didn't directly jump into it, because for us it was very important to have something like a proof of concept for the products, because there were new products, there were not anyone else who were doing these kind of products in the market. So I remember this is when we didn't even have a name for the company as such. When Atya and I would go to different parts of the country, like metros mostly, I'd say something like Delhi, then Kochi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, and do something like flea markets over there, where we thought that this product would fit in and we will find our target demographics or the target audience over there. And trust me, at this point, we only had one bacon relish on our entire SKU catalog. But we would run out of all the bacon products. Like the bacon products is what we would run out of completely by the end of every flea market. And that's when we realized that there is some kind of an affinity towards this, wherein we would literally call people to our stall saying that, hey, we have a bacon jam here. That's it. So that's when we realized that kind of
So essentially we didn't start as a bacon jam company. We essentially started out as a savory condiments, savory jams, because we thought like there's a very big gap in the Indian market when it comes to condiments. It's just the usual stuff. So we were trying out something like onion jam, onion garlic jam, bacon jam, something like
A
mango
pineapple
chili, a
chili,
pineapple
yeah.
chili jam.
Yeah.
So we essentially started out as a savory jam company, but when we realized like what potential bacon condiments hold, because it's a thing in Western markets are like full with thousand kind of condiments, whereas Indian market lacks that. So we just thought, okay, like let's double down on bacon. Let's create, innovate more with bacon, and let's be like bacon front company. And yeah,
We kind of
major.
realized the niche out there with the products, because like we said, that was what was pulling up a lot of attention and creating kind of a brand for us on lines of bacon. So we kind of held on to that. We were like, if we are getting hold on to this niche, then we want to grow it and like, be the main people in this line. Wherein the best part right now is because there's no one else who's doing that. And like, in India, you'll find especially in this segment, a lot of products which have been existing for ages, and there's not been any kind of invention or anything, if I might say.
And I think like any of the big food companies are like a little bit reluctant to work with bacon because they are like major players and they don't want to do anything political or something that will have repercussions. And we are pretty young. We don't have like anything to lose right now. So yeah.
Yeah. Also, there's this conception that a major chunk of the population is vegetarian. So a lot of brands don't want to, uh, kind of portray that themselves in that way because they're already in that vegetarian segment, or they want to
Yeah.
play it safe with chicken and mutton.
Like
So anyway, having once we got a proof of concept and all, and we were a little confident, then considering that we've been moving around so much around the entire place, we decided to name it Nomad Food Project. And that's when we took it step by step. After that, we knew that we didn't, because it was bootstrapped, we didn't want to jump into retail because the retail industry in India is very complicated and has a lot of like I won't say drawbacks exactly, but risks involved. So we decided, and once we had an idea of what our target audiences looked like, we decided to target them directly through Instagram, Facebook, and social media marketing. Because this is the time around 3 years back when not a lot of people were doing this. Like right now, you'd see every other brand as such, which is also a good thing. But at that point, it wasn't there. So we decided let's try something different in that way, considering the time back then. And we set up a Facebook shop, we set up a website. Now for websites also, we basically have a hotel management background, so we didn't really have any technical knowledge or expertise about how to set up a website, how to basically do the maintenance. And so we would kind of hustle through it, and we found Shopify, which does this for you, and you just have to manage your inventory or manage the catalog and all on top of that, and your customers. So we set that up, and yeah, we started moving. Then for us, a major important thing, like one another very major important thing, was to create the awareness about it. And one big thing for us is we couldn't rely on any other digital marketing agency for this bit, is because a lot of times we wouldn't find the right people, and secondly, even if we did, they wouldn't really resonate or see the product that is there because it's new, because it's different, and because it's bacon. A lot of people don't eat bacon, so they don't know how to work around it, what to push around it, and all that stuff. So for us, content creation was the next big thing, because the product was ready, the website was ready, everything was ready, but like we need to market it. So one was obviously performance marketing on Instagram and ad campaigns. That was one aspect of it, and the second was pushing out a lot of content. By when I say content, I mean something like recipes, about educating people as to how they can use it, how they can incorporate it into their daily lives, into their breakfast that we claim to really assist you with. And so we've been doing that continuously for the last 2 years. We make our own recipes. We are standing around in different corners of the kitchen trying to shoot the recipes that we're doing. And yeah, it's been fun that way to kind of push that bit and to get a good response towards it also. So and then when some celebrities come and follow you, or they kind of come and like all your posts and all that, that's really like heartwarming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like as a
Yeah.
small business owner, you have like small wins on a daily basis. Yeah, so you get those dopamine hits every day when you're running a business.
Hmm. Also, yeah, I mean, it's like a new challenge or new kind of a situation you're facing on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So I remember when we were sitting and discussing what to ask you all, the first question was, how did they come up with, a bacon as something? I mean, that is not the kind of meat we eat here or we consume here. It is more of a Western sort of a thing, right, to do. But I think you answered most of our doubts through this question. So thank you so much for that. Moving on to the next question. I mean, we cannot just, let go of Shark Tank. We have to bring it in the discussion at this point. So, apart from what gets aired on Shark Tank India, we've heard that there are multiple processes to actually get featured on the television and to actually get on that episode, right? So, we would
Yeah.
love to know how did
Yeah.
it begin, right from applying to preparing through those rigorous, we've heard that there are multiple shoots and, multiple procedures to follow. So, we would like to know about that journey of yours.
It is a very lengthy process as such. The entire process from the time it starts to the time you end up on the studio round is about 6 to 8 months. And so for us, we remember sitting back and kind of seeing the ad that came around of Shark Tank India, and we were thinking of applying. Like we really wanted to, so we're sitting and applying for it, and that's when we receive a mail from them saying, "Hey guys, do you want to apply for this? We are doing that." So we were like really stoked about it, and like we cannot let this go. So we started off with it. We sent the form, and we were like, we weren't really aware as to how the entire process is. Then we
But
had,
those forms are like
yeah,
really
yeah,
lengthy and really detailed. Like they want to know everything about your business, about your personal life, and every single detail. It's like 14, 15 long
yeah,
forms.
yeah, yeah.
So once that form goes in, then
We thought like making a business plan is actually very tedious and all, and then we realized the business plan is like one small aspect of the entire form, and there are way too many dynamics involved over here. So it was more than anything was more of a learning curve for us, because before this we weren't really into evaluating a business or pitching or doing
just pitching an investment.
yeah,
Or yeah.
or doing a pitch in Hindi.
Yeah.
God, that was like a challenge, big time.
So like
But
we did like 2 3 forms, like 15-page long. We did 2 3 of those forms, and then we had to shoot a video explaining our business, and that too everything has to be done in Hindi for some
yeah,
reason. So that was a very big
that
task for
was very
us. Yeah, was
challenging. More
that
than the questioning bit, or more than what to write in the pitch and all. We were like, how do
yeah.
we explain what bacon is in Hindi? Exactly. So,
So
but it was
we
fun.
had to
Yeah.
write down the whole script. We had to learn it, rehearse it, then shoot it on a camera, then send it to those guys.
That was just one bit of it. Then once we submitted the form, because the entire process is so long and there are about 80,000 companies that applied for this. So there was a quite a long waiting period in the middle wherein we would like, yo, we've submitted this form. Now I'm not sure if it's going to happen. I think it's not going to happen. Let's just start working. And then we would just give out hopes on this, and then they would write back to us saying, hey, you know what, you guys have been selected for the next round. I'm really like, oh, nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, so then that's one bit of it. Then once the entire form filling and all went through, and the videos that we had to send online and get like approvals on it went through, then we were invited for a first audition round, which was in Bombay. And this was like an audition round carried out with the Sony crew as a Sony production team.
It was
They
more like a
basically
screen
wanted to
test.
get an idea, yeah, like a screen test, like get an idea of how you are in front of a camera, or how you are interactively, how you're able to answer the questions and all. And both of us were like, ours was the first batch on the morning bit of the thing, and it was taking so long, and both of us were like, can we get done with this, please, like, and then we're seeing people are like, a little nervous about it and all, but that wasn't an like a major challenge for us. More than that, we were like, we woke up really early for this. We want to like get done with it as soon as possible and go through with it. And yeah, so we went through it, and I remember one of the best things during the screen test round was no, it's a food product, right? So we want, before we start talking about it, we want the people judging us to taste it, because then we know that we kind of convince them halfway there, and we can like then work around a lot of blocks around that. But these guys, they were refused to try it in the start, and they were like bombarding us with questions, and we finished off that entire round, and then they tried it, and I'm not kidding, like there were four of them over there, and four of them bought like four jars each for themselves, and they were like, can I take this back with me? I want to take it for my friends, I want to take it for my colleagues. And so that's very like, confidence wise or whatever,
And
that
also,
kind of
yeah,
gives
the
you a
screen
push.
test, like we also were like pretty nervous, but the production team, they kept it pretty casual and they calmed us down. And it was a pretty casual chat that way.
True.
They asked everything from the business to us, like yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember them asking me about how many pets I have at home, and what's the name of my dog, and I'm like, okay, I did not really expect that.
And yeah, after this audition round, then again we had like 2 months of silent period where we were thinking,
Yeah.
I think we haven't got through.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, I think in December,
Yeah.
Dece-
In November,
in November
yeah,
end,
we
we
got
randomly one evening we get a call that you have the final TV audition studio round next month
in front of the shop.
Yeah.
So I remember, like, we were prepping for it, and we were nervous, and we were like, this is really happening. And so we were very much like stoked and all about it. Then we learned that Ranvijay is going to be the host for it. So we were even more excited to like go and meet him, apart from all the sharks there.
Yeah.
And
since it was before anything was televised, so we had no clue like Ashneer would be such a rude person on the screen, or like he would be such straightforward person. So we didn't account any of that, of like how are they gonna question us, how are they gonna roast us, everything.
What they're gonna ask and all, yeah.
I don't know how, like it just all went smoothly.
Yeah, I remember because we were rehearsing our pitch with the Sony team before going in. So there's like a 1 day rehearsal before they let you in, because they just want to be sure that, this is the first time you're doing this. This is the first time it's happening on TV. So, and there are no rehearsal rounds with the Sharks. It's just one flow and you just have one shot. So they just want to do their best to, basically make sure that you're not going to stumble or whatever in front of them. So we were going through that, and I remember them telling us that, you guys have 7 sharks that you guys are going to be pitching to, and not everyone's had that opportunity. But out of the 7, 6 of them are going to be vegetarian. So they probably won't try your best selling product and your, best product that you have. And both of us were like, oh God, like, we really want them to try the bacon if they're going to invest in a bacon based company. Uh, but like, I don't know how it happened. We went through it, and we had a first offer 10 minutes into the pitch, where Namita and Benita hadn't even heard about our numbers or anything as such. So I remember when the entire thing got done, and we asked them, like, we had basically 2 offers in front of us, and we asked them that, just give us a minute, we want to just discuss as to what we want to do. And I remember both of us walking out of that door to think outside and just discuss it. And we're looking at each other and we're like, what the hell just happened? Like, this is nothing that we expected to at all on
And
either
it's
of our
immediately
minds.
adding another pressure on you that you're taking someone's money.
Yeah.
You have to
yeah.
work double the clock. So yeah, and you're like, damn.
But then both of us were instantly like the minute we said, both of us are like looking at each other and we were like, Namita, right? Like Namita's offer, do you want to go ahead with? So that kind of helped us in like not discussing about like who's choosing who, and if we are having a difference of opinion in the sharks that we want to go ahead with.
Yeah, I
So
think
that
we
was
felt.
when we came out, and yeah.
I think we felt we needed some like female energy in the company as well, because it's just two guys running it, and having a female perspective is a very different thing. So yeah, we wanted that as well.
Sure.
I mean, our next question was exactly that. How surreal was the feeling? I mean, all seven sharks. I mean, the ball is in your court now. Like you have to choose which shark do you want to go with, right? So how exactly was that moment, and what just started from let's just get done with it, and that escalated to this is what it is now, right?
Yeah.
So how was that particular moment?
Oh man.
So, like before we went in, there was like he said, like we didn't really have an idea as to the personalities of the sharks, as such. We just knew that these are going to be strangers that we're going to be talking to for an hour, 45 minutes to 1 hour, and they're going to bombard us with questions, and that's going to happen. But just before you go in, when you are prepping for your round, there is one other like other business who is pitching before you. So you get to see parts and bits of their session, while you're waiting outside, and while your heart is like literally like going crazy over there. So we are looking, and these guys were getting bombarded with questions, and like very very difficult questions, very personal questions, very tricky questions, and just difficult stuff that you would think that you would not want to like be really prepared to answer it or whatever. And so we were like, okay, fine, now it's happening. And I remember standing behind that door like that before it's opening, and I was crazy. Like it's really nothing that I can really
Because
explain
it's
as
like a
such.
new space, so
Yeah.
many lights on you. It's everything is just added pressure on you. And we remember the first offer we got from Namita within like 7 to 10 minutes. We both were just looking at each other and we were like, what is happening? Like, are we getting an offer for real? So that was the moment, and yeah, it just
Yeah, I
he
mean,
kept
one
getting
of the
better.
things like initially we were a little conscious about how it's going to be and all, but now like even these guys, they kind of feel that energy sometimes when they're talking to contestants or entrepreneurs or such. So they want people to also talk freely to them. So they were very like chill with us. They were cracking jokes like Anupam just right in the start when I was like I had no idea. He cracked a sewer joke over there, and
Yeah.
so that was like it was a little chill that way in terms of the energy with them. And I remember with them it was like whatever questions they were asking us, it was stuff that we discuss on a daily basis, not just with each other, with our friends and our family as well. Like, because we are talking about like how we want to move ahead, what products we want to do, what's the business been like, what's our customer acquisition cost been like, what's the customer retention been like, and all these terms. Like, so that way, that wasn't really challenging, or we didn't stumble on that bit because we've been so closely linked to the product since the start of it. Like, both of us are behind right from branding the label to filing our taxes to going to the market, talking to people, selling the product, making the product,
or washing the utensils as well.
Yeah.
So
Basically
it's
that.
it's A to Z. So like it was a team of three and two of us. Yeah. So like we
And
have
one
been
of
like
us,
pretty
yeah.
much hands on with every detail. So the questions were not like a very big deal for us because we were pretty clear with our numbers, with everything going on. So we were not like literally scared about that part.
I think sometimes it's just about going on a television and a platform like that, but because you were so invested in your own this thing, that did not sort of matter to you. I think it's been quite some time since a Shark Tank India. I mean, y'all must be working with the people who've invested in all this thing. How resourceful or how have the inputs of these sharks actually, helped you now that it's been quite some time? And how have they sort of helped you with direction, maybe perspective, or some tips and tricks about business and entrepreneurship?
Well, so you think that fine, on TV you've gotten the check and now you're the most difficult part of your life is over and now you can start working with them and things get better as such. But then comes this one process which is very uh, difficult in nature, which is called due diligence, where they check each and every number, data, and information, piece of information that you've provided to the sharks, to the team about your company, your compliances, your taxes.
Plus the due diligence is when it's happening. Plus our company structure was different. We had an LLP. We had to convert to a private limited. So it's a long process, but we are on the last stage of it.
Yeah, we are closing.
We are
the
closing
deal,
everything right
this
now.
week now. So the entire process has been pretty long. But we met Namita once before that,
Yeah.
right after the shoot got done, and she was very nice in terms of what she wants to do with the company and with us. So that was very promising as such. Even now we constantly text each other saying that because of her there were way too many onion garlic orders that we got because on TV she was like, this jam is amazing.
Yeah.
And then I had customers calling me saying कि नहीं नमिता ने बोला अच्छा है इसलिए मैंने order किया है,
Yeah.
so it better be good. And so I was telling her about it and she was like, I'm really looking forward to working with you all.
But yeah, we are also
Yeah.
super excited to work with them.
Yeah,
Get
of
properly
course.
mentored
And for us it's been like a trial and error basis, on trial and error basis, whatever we've been doing. So even though that's a really good thing on the learning curve, sometimes it ends up being time consuming as such, because then for whatever reason. So for us, we felt that we are in the right stage where we want to scale the business up. We've been doing this for 1.5 years, doing our maximum that we can do from our end as such. And for scaling up, then we thought that there's no one better than these four people that we are going to be working with, because they have been through this. They have been through these kind of products in that space. So yeah, we are hella stoked about working with them as such. Once
So
when
basically, I think the decision that was made with, so much after receiving an offer from all seven sharks under pressure, making the decision of going ahead with that particular offer, I think the decision was good and it worked out really well for you all. So we often talk about individual pitches. We talk about the sharks, the pitch that made the cut, so on and so forth. But we rarely talk about fellow participants, right? So I'm sure between the scenes with incredible business models and like-minded people, there is a lot of entrepreneurial experiences, this exchange of thoughts. So what was your experience with your fellow participants and how have they been able to add value to your entire journey on Shark Tank India?
Oh, it
Yeah,
was fun.
yeah, it
We
was
met
fun.
fun people, we met crazy people.
Like,
You must have
yeah.
seen the On to Cook guy, the guy who made a microwave and induction together. So he was one of the brightest guy on the set.
Yeah, he was
even
so energetic, very passionate about the
even when
work
he was
they're
rehearsing,
doing.
the whole set, whole Goregaon could listen to him. He was so loud and just energetic and just so passionate about the thing he has spent
Invented,
10
yeah.
years building, and he was just so passionate about it. Yeah, and since everyone we met were elder than us, so there was a lot of experience in the room. We got to learn a lot, and we got to see a ton of different things. We used to think our business is unique, we are doing something crazy, and you see 10 other businesses who are doing as crazy as you are doing. So it was an eye opener, and you get to meet nice fun people.
Yeah. And there's like people in every different space over there, like, because they select the entrepreneurs in that kind of a way where they don't want repetition or repetitive interests being portrayed. So like he said, and we were one of the youngest lot over there. So it was fun to talk to people because a lot of people had gone through a large chunk of their life in doing something else before they got into entrepreneurship or before they got into a business. So they were really stoked and happy, and they were very happy about us that we kind of started early with the entire process. And but we could also see that just having that experience with you plays such a crucial role in the way you portray yourself, you talk, in the way you think, in the way you operate, basically. So I wouldn't say one's better than the other in any way, but it's amazing to like meet people who have worked across the globe and then basically come and started a business, given up something like that, and then come here and started a business on their own. And we would feel that people are actually like tackling problems. Like for us it's more of a convenience product. It's people, it's a niche, and for people who like bacon and that sort. But we would find people and come across people who are targeting on like
Certain
real
issues.
problems, certain issues, societal issues to
And try to solve them and like make a business out of it.
Yeah. So that was amazing.
Yeah. So our next question would be for somebody who, because you are in an age bracket which is very similar to ours. I mean, we can connect with you and you all can understand the problems that we face. For people who are very good with numbers, maybe who are very good with their strategies, but are not able to, pitch their business ideas properly, or maybe they lack that clarity of thought. What would your suggestions would be? What would be your lessons be for them in terms of presenting their idea in a right way?
So getting back to your first question, find a good partner who does that for you. Yeah, so like you have to find the right people. Like, yeah, if you have founded a business, but you can't do everything on your own, you might be behind on some things. So yeah, getting back to it, like having a right founding partner.
Yeah,
Like,
especially if
you
you're
should-
starting off early, then it makes a lot of sense to have a co-founder with you.
Because you
And
know
we
what
would
you
very
lack.
strongly advise that, yeah, because sometimes, as he said, you can't do everything, and you require.
And just your whole personality, you lack of certain things, the other founder will lack certain things, but you have to make up for it. Yeah. So just I think that will be the major thing, having right founder.
And yeah, I mean, coming to numbers, both of us aren't really good with numbers, but it's like, once they put you in a pool, then you have to swim. You have to, like,
Yeah.
So, and you learn it. It's nothing like rocket science or something. It's basically that a lot of companies and people have been doing. So it's just a matter of time as to how soon you adapt to that ecosystem where you want to work in.
And I think same, like if you're like really passionate about your business, you know inside out everything about it, you won't have much of an issue explaining it or pitching it. If you're like deeply passionate about your business, like it's your own, then
I mean, having said, like being passionate about something is like a very rare thing, and if you have that with you, then half of your problems are solved there. But both of us have sat through nights trying to work out our margins, find out our customer acquisition costs, and all these other numerical values as such, which later on have to make sense as a whole, because and they have to make sense for you to kind of then go and convince someone else that, hey, this is what we're doing, this is what the numbers look like, and
so like
this is why we want you coming in, and in so much of a time we plan to
so essentially your
give you
real
return
passion
on it.
goes for a toss and you're just knee deep in numbers.
हेलो शार्क्स, मेरा नाम है अद्वैत
और मैं हूं आदित्य।
और हम हैं नोमैड फूड प्रोजेक्ट। हम बनाते हैं बेकन जैम्स और रेलिशेस जो कि पोक से बनते हैं। हमने बेकन को एक स्वादिष्ट टेस्ट देके, इसके स्मोकी और सॉल्टीनेस को यूज करके इसे एक देसी ट्विस्ट देके ऐसे प्रोडक्ट्स क्राफ्ट किए हैं जो इंडिया में इसके पहले ना ही किसी ने बनाए हैं या फिर इन्हें ट्राई किया है।
जैसे कि बेकन ठेचा और चोरिजो जैम, जिन्हें आप आसानी से जार खोल के अपने ब्रेड पे एज ए स्प्रेड यूज कर सकते हैं या फिर एग्स में मिला के बेकन और एग्स का मजा उठा सकते हैं।
आज हमारे वेबसाइट पे 12 ऐसे यूनिक प्रोडक्ट्स अवेलेबल है, जिनमें से 5 पोक प्रोडक्ट्स है और ये हमारे बेस्ट सेलर्स रहे हैं। इसके अलावा कई सारे वेजिटेरियन ऑप्शंस भी अवेलेबल है। सो नमिता एंड विनीता, वी हैव गॉट यू गाइस कवर्ड ऑन दैट वन।
थैंक यू सो मच।
आज हम अपने बिजनेस को स्केल अप करना चाहते हैं और ये हासिल करने के लिए हम ऐसे शार्क्स ढूंढ रहे हैं जो हमारी कंपनी में 40 लाख इन्वेस्ट करना चाहेंगे फॉर एन इक्विटी रिटर्न ऑफ 10%। सो शार्क्स, विद दिस क्विक फिक्स, लेट्स ट्राई एंड मेक अ क्विक डील।
वैल्यूएशन कितनी हुई?
I think that was it from our side in terms of the video. But since we saw the pitch, I would like to ask you all, do you all think is oh yeah. So do you all find anybody as your competition in this space, and how do you all want to go about it in your future, and what are your future plans in terms of Nomad Food Project, and what are you all planning to launch, or maybe how are you all planning to take forward the whole thing?
So majorly like we don't have any direct competition in India. And since we saw that gap, we decided we have to build something on it. And it's been 3 years and there's like no major competition who is doing directly anything bacon related. In terms of that, yeah, we are pretty safe. But we don't want to be just stuck into like bacon jam and condiments. As we said on the show as well, like we want to build a whole bacon snacking range. Like every snacking segment should have a bacon flavored something. Like there should be bacon salt, there should be bacon chips, bacon chocolate, bacon peanut butter, even there's bacon ice cream. So like with bacon you can like go crazy.
Yeah, I mean, more like it's we wanted to come across like an identity for the brand that, now when you think of chicken, you might think of Venky's. We want to portray it in such a way that if someone's thinking of bacon, if they know someone who likes bacon, then the first brand that they're coming to or thinking about is Nomad Food Project. Yeah, I mean, I hope.
And yeah, there's still that, like, even if you think about any non-veg brand on a national level, there's no one, new startups are there, something like Licious will be there, which is selling chicken and mutton. So we want to be a national brand, and if anyone talks about bacon, Nomad should be the first thing that comes in their mind.
Yeah, also, and like we said that, bacon jams are a thing abroad or in the West where such a concept does exist. But now if you come to think about an improvisation in that with a bacon thesa, now that is not something that exists anywhere. So it's not just the national market that we want to target with this, but and basically bacon and garlic is something that's cherished throughout the world. So as long as we are able to pair these very delightful flavors together and ingredients together and come up with something, also like keep creating in that space also, but also like moving forward, we don't just want to focus on these metros that are our target demographics right now, because we know that there's a lot of scope. Like we remember the minute Shark Tank aired, our Shopify was showing us that from what all geographic locations people are logging onto the website, and we were mind blown. Like we had no idea there were people from Australia to Scandinavian countries to Canada to America, across the entire place. So that interest is there. Now it's just a matter of fact about how we reach out to them, like, and get our products to them. And that's where we want to work with people who have done that with their products, who have. So even during our pitch, the first thing that the sharks asked us is about the shelf life. And because if we want to go global, then we need to have a very shelf stable product, because it takes time realistically to ship the product from here to there. It stays on the shelf, it moves, then the customer buys it. It has to stay with the customer also for a certain duration of time. So our priority since then has been to work on the shelf life of the products to basically extend that, because now this was a problem that we didn't think would hit us as such, but it's there, and of course it can be overcome
Yeah, like
with the
if you're
right
planning to
approach.
scale, we
Yeah.
have to work on the shelf life. It's one of the major thing.
And then distributions and all that can be managed, because like Shark Tank itself, I remember after that for about 4 to 5 days my phone wouldn't stop ringing, because my number is the one that's been provided on the website, and there would be customers calling, to distributors calling, to investors calling again, and we're like, no, we've just pulled a round of investment, yeah, we don't want to shed out on more equity at this point. So, but it was crazy. I mean, especially people calling up and they're like, "Hey, we saw this online on the program, and we loved it. We're very excited to try it and all." So that is like hardcore validation right there, which which was like a major push for us.
We wish you all the best in terms of the expansion and reaching globally. I hope that Heza goes to every corner of the world. I mean, that would be great. After
Can
that,
we have
now
the
this
students
is
also now? We can have a Q&A round with the students.
sure, Ba, we can do that. If we have
I'm sure
questions,
students are quite excited to ask questions.
For sure.
Yes, so Gautami, you could maybe ask the students if anybody has questions.
yes, there's a raise of hand option. If you have questions, please go ahead. We can just pick up from the lot, or you can just put your questions in the chat box also.
So I think your talk show has covered almost everything. The fact that students have no question. So
Yeah,
Advait,
I got this
my
slide
basic
that
question is
probably I was
why bacon
lost,
theza? I mean, why bacon theza? It's a combination, and then the nomad food, So both seems to be quite, traditional and related to our deep Indian culture. May not be the bacon, but the theza and the name also.
Well, so both of us are hardcore mutton lovers. Like we've probably tried every other mutton thali place in Pune, and we were just sitting at one of these restaurants, and we saw this item on the menu which says kharda mutton, which is like kharda is another term for teta only. And we tried it and we fell in love with it. And we came back and we were sitting at home and we were trying that, this theta thing, if we can work something of that sort with bacon, because we were like
Yeah, and like
inspired by that recipe, and so madly in love with that chili and garlic combination.
and it will be just another way for us to like get bacon to people's home, because chili and garlic in form of a thecha or a chutney is familiar to everyone in India. Just little bit of chilies and garlic pounded with salt in any some or other form, it's familiar to every household. So we wanted to like make bacon familiar to those households. Like, okay, you eat
Yeah.
thecha, just try this something more amazing, bacon thecha. It's a new concept.
Yeah,
And
I
yeah,
mean,
it
as
just
long as
blew
you're
up.
fine with chicken, with bacon, and you're fine with the spice tolerance and all of that, then we did that, and just a couple of months after that, we launched a chorizo jam, which is now again very traditional to Goa. So we felt that kind of also resonates with the name of the brand, wherein we're doing these traditional recipes from across the country. So now moving forward, we want to do something like a bacon podi, for that matter, and work around that and basically keep inventing in that space as well.
Sure. What are the questions is, I mean, there's a lot said about Shark Tank, in terms of the memes that would come out, in terms of how the judges were. But this is not the platform we talk about the controversies about Shark Tank, but as a fair critique, and as people who have like a first-hand experience of Shark Tank India, what is something that you all think Shark Tank could have done better, or in the coming seasons, they can work on this particular area and they can come forward with that particular change, or maybe like a quick feedback that you would like to give?
So we have both like spent a lot of years watching Shark Tank America, Shark Tank Australia. And when we found out about Shark Tank India and the kind of format it is going for, it is gonna be like it's gonna be in Hindi, it's gonna be like this. We felt a little hesitant and we felt a little, suppose like cringe, you would say, because you know Indian reality shows and how they go.
Yeah, so we were like in the back of our minds, we were like, we need to have a sad story or something, or do we need to do that to kind of
As a joke,
as a joke, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you're
So
saying something.
yeah, like, but yeah, we had this in the back of our head, ki, like, what if it's gonna end up something like Dance India Dance, Indian Idol, or like any of the Indian reality shows. But the moment
Yeah,
we
it
saw
was
the,
nothing like
but
that.
like our whole experience of like the audition and the TV and everything, it was like superb because the sharks don't know which companies are coming. It's a surprise for them. So the whole experience as it was very great. And once we saw the episodes when they were out on Sony, we were actually surprised because they have done a pretty good job with the show. I mean, they do still lack a few things in terms of it being more serious because they are trying to get to the mass of India and not just not trying to make it a niche show because Sony is being like watched every household at 9 p.m. So yeah, so they are trying to make it a more massy, and that has done like a very good thing.
Yeah, and the format, like as a program, needs to stay constant with whatever country or
Yeah.
whatever platform, because that's the ethos of the show.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't want to change anything about that as such.
Maybe a little bit of background music.
Little too loud it was, no? Or was it scary? Was it scary?
No, no, just
Both,
like
both.
when it's on TV, they play a little of Bollywood tunes or fake laugh. So yeah.
So we have a question from one of the audience, like a person saying just mentioned that you're not very good with numbers, right? But still, you all were very like perfect and on point when it came to numbers of valuating, like the valuation of your business on Shark Tank India. So how did you go about with this process, and how did you actually come out with like a proper financial projection of your business plan?
I mean, when we say we are not good with numbers, as in we are not pro in maths. I mean, we are decent with numbers. Like we can do good subtraction, addition, multiplication, and division. But yeah, but like we prepared for it because we know all the numbers, because you have to know your numbers if you're running a business. That's like 60-70% of your business. Like you have to put time into that. So we had put in time in that, and we just went through all the numbers twice, thrice, again and again, just to be like really thorough with it.
Also, we've seen a lot of other, what do you say, like seasons of the show from other countries. So we kind of had an idea as to what kind of questions would we be been hitting with, and to work on those lines. But I think one of the most difficult times we faced while the entire number game was coming up with the valuation also, and which we feel that even on the show we saw a lot of companies with a very unrealistic approach with the valuation bit. And so that from an investor point of view also, it would just tip someone off.
Like you have to be
And
in a realistic world where
realistic world,
everyone
yeah.
knows.
When considering the fact that, yeah, it's your baby, and it's like something that you see growing, you have a vision for, you have this, you have that for it, but you have to, like, have a realistic approach towards the net valuation.
Yeah.
And depending on the company and in the industry that you are, the way you seek your valuation changes. If it's a tech company, then the way you
Then
valuate
there's-
your company is
If you're into
yeah.
tech, then there's no methodology
then
to
you
your
can just throw
valuation.
random
You
numbers
can just
out
throw
there.
random numbers,
Yeah.
and you'll get that valuation.
But-
But yeah, being like a food company, it's very hard to get those valuations.
Yeah, because
Even
you
if you
have
can go
right
global,
number of
yeah.
sales, you have the right number of people coming back to you for the products, people purchasing. Then you have to focus on your month-on-month growth, because that affects your
So
valuation.
we were like really,
directly.
really conscious about the valuation. Like
We got it wrong the first time. Like
we
we
were
got it
not
wrong the
thinking
first time.
like even at the
And-
4 crore valuation, we were like, okay, should we ask for 3? Should we ask for 3.5?
Yeah.
We were not thinking of going to like 100 CR valuation, 50 CR valuation. because like you have to be on the ground, you have to know your numbers.
So like the first time we did it, we got a much higher valuation, and even though that felt really like good in ways to us, like very confidence boosting that way, but we did it again, like just to be sure, and that's when we realized that no, there is some mistake over here because of which we're getting such a high valuation. Of course, it's going to make you happy if your numbers come and they turn out to be a huge number in front of you, but we're like we have to justify that, and it has to come through as a realistic approach with two people being behind it, cooking it in small batches with so many jars going out and all. So then we reworked it, and then that's when we came up to our 4 crore valuation that we pitched for.
So the next question from the audience is about the fact that veganism is on rise worldwide, right? And so we can expect products under the umbrella of NFP, which would cater to that segment of population some 5-10 years down the line. So your thoughts on that, maybe, and something that you would like to answer.
No, we already have a bunch of vegan products. So we want to cater everyone. We just don't want to cater like non-vegetarians. We want to cater everyone in the end. And we wanted to do something like bacon jam for vegetarians, and that's why we did something like mushroom jam, mushroom and miso jam. So it's got that umami flavor, it's got that meaty flavor from mushrooms. We have like around 3 or 4 vegan products right now in our range.
Also now, like you said, in under that umbrella, there's been so many brands coming up. Like we do markets in Bombay, and the entire market is saturated with these products. So it works in a good way for us because the least we have to do is just put a bacon jar in front of our thing, and we stand out over there. So that way it works good for us. So we don't want to like push around all. And for us, our ethos has always been to work with products and to come up with products which are not there.
Yeah.
And which are also like out of the box or whatever you may call it. So directly going into veganism and vegan based products, hardcore into that is not something we look at. Of course, like he said, we want to have those products available on the website because there are a lot of people who kind of like you said, the website look good or the brand look good, because of which they connect with the brand, but then they're like, hey, no, I don't eat bacon, so I can't like go in for this. So we don't want to push them around, especially if we spent an X amount in acquiring the customer to get them to our website. So we want to have that, and for that same reason, we want to then move into other segments of snacking also, and not just jams and radishes.
Yeah.
Very true. I think we have 2 people wanting to ask you questions. Astha, can you go ahead with your question, and then we can have Malhar, your question.
Thank you so much, Gautami. So my question is, how did you feel when you were facing the sharks, the investors on national TV, knowing that you were not just pitching to them, not just pitching to the investors, but to the entire nation as well at the same time?
We tried to keep the latter part out of our head because we know that would just play around and make it more difficult than what it needs to be. But I was constantly trying to have like eye contact with the sharks in order to see who's smiling or like who's in a better mood than the other. And on those lines, and also when you're talking, then you want them to kind of agree or disagree or have a reaction to what you're saying.
But yeah, other than that, like we were excited to pitch on national television because every household can have a conversation about bacon or what bacon is. Because there are still a lot of like crores of people in India who don't know what bacon is or like what is pork, how is it consumed. So
Yes.
like it initiated a conversation in people's dining room or wherever they watch TV, I don't know. So yeah, that was good.
That's really great to know. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah. Malhar, would you want to go ahead with your question?
Good evening, Advait and Aditya sir. It was great to hear you both today. We learned so much from the entire experience. So the question that I wanted to ask is very similar to what Asta had asked, but I wanted to draw a comparison between your experience at Shark Tank India and what you would experience in a normal VC kind of a pitch situation, right? So like we discussed, you had to go through a number of different rounds and processes, and even after the actual pitching was done, what I've been learning on the internet is that you have a secondary process of due diligence that is usually conducted by the investors, right? So
Yeah.
given your experience through this process of extreme competition, because you're basically competing with thousands and thousands of people who have applied for that one spot, as compared to reaching out to a VC probably from where you're situated, what would be the main differences between these two experiences? And as an entrepreneur who might be starting at a very young age, what would you suggest individuals should look forward to? Do we think as VC experience as being the more skill, more building experience as to our understanding of what our product is or
Yeah,
how it
yeah,
can
I
fit,
get what
or
you're
the
saying.
Shark Tank experience, which is mostly PR
So,
driven?
so like, to be honest, VCs and all will always approach you with the company because that's how they make money anyway. But one difference I would say is with a VC, then you have a lot of multiple rounds that considering that you want to go ahead. There's an entire rounds that go on for weeks, 2 weeks together. Where here, that's not the case. You have 1 hour or half an hour basically to pitch your business, and that's when they make up their mind. And of course, the due diligence process follows after that. But the decision kind of to do that is taken in that 45 minutes, 1 hour to 45 minutes. Apart from that, I think the difference would be the kind of makeup and the amount of clothes they make you choose before you're coming on national television.
And as to you guys like coming out of college, I wouldn't like suggest like starting a business and like having a VC or a Shark Tank thing on your mind first of all. Like start working, like save up, start work for a year, save, stay with your parents, save some money, just bootstrap your company, and your aim should be just make some money to make some profit
Yeah,
so that your
to
company can be sustainable.
sustainable in terms of the profits you're making to
And
put them back. Yeah.
once you're on it like again and again and again, and you're working 2 to 3 years down the line, opportunities will come to you, VCs will call you, any angel investor will come to you. So that should not be your aim. Just raising money should not be an aim. Just making profits and making a sustainable company which can sustain
That's
you
very
and
true.
your household. That should be the aim right now. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
VCs
I
be
think that's
like
a very
thank you
good
so much.
suggestion, Aditya.
And
Very good suggestion.
yeah, and just a quick follow up. I have heard, like, in today's day and age where we are seeing this entrepreneurial rise in India, founders are only able to explain or pitch their idea between 15 to 20 minutes at the maximum. So the art is in about pitching your idea within that time frame. So do you think you were put in that kind of situation at Shark Tank, or were you given enough time to explain your idea and touch upon different points?
No. I think we were given like enough time, and even the whole pitch goes for like 45 to 50 minutes. Like they ask a ton of questions.
and they ask you the exact question
All the
that
relevant
the
questions, yeah.
relevant question which kind of paints a picture in their mind about a lot of other dynamics of the company. So I think that time slot is good enough, like a 45 minutes to 1 hour kind of a thing. But yeah, I mean
I mean,
it's
it's
great.
not
Thank
even
you
that
so
complicated. We are just cooking some bacon and putting it into a jar. It doesn't need much explanation, but yeah, we were given enough time.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Up next, I think we have Vishwas. Would you want to go ahead?
Yeah, thank you so much. So, sirs, I actually wanted to ask you that how difficult is it to start your own industry when it comes to the retail market industry in India, and to put something which is not found very easily on our retail shelves, especially here? How difficult is it
So,
to start?
retail strategy will be pretty tough for you. I think any new player, retail strategy would be tough to go. That's why I think D2C is the way ahead.
And if you're doing something new, then it challenging regardless of which industry you are
And anyway,
stepping
retail
into.
has its drawbacks. Like
Big time. Like I remember going to a lot of DMarts or More for Use or these kind of outlets and talking to the purchase managers over there. This was initially okay, like 1 or 2 months after we had made our product. and they were like, what is pork and what is bacon and what is this? So that's when we realized that we cannot jump into this. There has to be a lot of education that has to be going around the product, a kind of relevance, a credible wave around the product before we get into retail.
Like our product doesn't have a fit for all general stores or or your neighborhood kirana store. But like if it still has but it's a new product, I think D2C strategy will be much better, because for D2C you can reach a customer anywhere on his couch while he's taking a just waking up from his nap. You can reach to him on his phone with your ads or anything. But for a retail strategy to work, the customer has to go down, take a car, go to the shop. So I think
also with the drawbacks, considering the drawbacks with retail, like we all know, your inventory gets stuck over there, and operationally it's kind of hazardous. Wherein we've heard about a lot of companies shutting down because jumping into retail. Wherein once, because you to get that stock out, there's a lot of money that goes into it, and there's a lot of projections that go into it, and if you're not able to meet that, then it kind of all goes for a toss the minute your sales don't reach the mark.
And with like so many is coming with 10-minute delivery, 19-minute delivery, just take advantage of those and give the retail like experience, like quick, like your customer needs a quick delivery, so give him the experience. But retail, I don't think like retail should be a strategy for any new company early on. Just establish a very good brand and establish good revenue, sales and everything.
Like branding plays a very key role into it. Like before, when we didn't do a lot of flea markets and all, and we would just go there with our products. So now people used to come and try these products again because there's something new and because they like it. But that's when we realized there has to be a lot of effort done on branding. And when I say that, I don't mean that you just have to hire a marketing agency who designs your labels, who does your branding bit, who does your social media marketing and all of that. I would say you get into it because you will only know as to how you want to sell your product into the right people. Do the creatives on your own, do your branding bit on your own. Also, like when I say on your own, it's even better if you do it on your own, but be on top of these things like directly to.
I mean,
to kind
and
of pull the most out of it.
everyone is on their internet like 24 hours these days. There's so much to learn, just so much to play around with and learn new skills that can help you in your business more successfully.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I think we have quite some people wanting to ask you questions, but because we are a little short on time, we'll take one last question from the audience today. So, Divyanshu, would you like to go ahead with your question?
Yeah, thank you, Gautami. Hi, Advait, as you mentioned that your partners plays key role in like with developing your product, and in the entire journey, your partner's role is very important. So, what would be your suggestion for me to like for anyone to choose any criteria, special criteria to choose a partner for your like company or that? So, can you please tell me what should be the criteria to like choose a partner?
I mean, do you have a good friend who has like similar interests?
Yeah, actually, I have a friend. Since I'm from a commerce stream, I'm currently working on a startup project. So I have my product on completely on tech field. Okay, so I have no idea about tech and everything, but I know how to implement that particular idea in reality. So I need those people who are specialized in.
Sorry. Go ahead. Please finish.
I need such people who can help me out really in developing my product, and like in that particular in tech field, I need such people who are interested in tech and all that. So can you please give me any
So I think if you're looking to find a co-founder in tech and you're from a non-tech background, I would suggest like go to these online forums where all these young people are posting what they're good at and what skills they can provide, and set up a few meetings, meet those people personally, meet a young few people from like all the tech colleges in Pune. Yeah, so meet those
Doesn't
people.
even have to be
Yeah,
Pune,
like wherever
because
you
if it's
are.
tech, then it's not like
Meet them,
as
talk
long
to
as you're
them,
connected.
see if they have a similar vision to you or a similar vision for the company you want to build.
Yeah, it is like time. You have to give it time because more than anything, skills or whatever, it's just that that trust factor also has to be there. Wherein, if I know that he's doing something, then I don't have to get into it at all. I can totally kind of be sure that that it's happening the way I or both of us want. Like, so that has to be there. Also, I would suggest that if you are finding a co-founder, then find someone who is better at something than what you are at it. So that kind of complements each other in order for a perfect ecosystem to be created for you and your company. uh, yeah, and other than that, I mean, of course, there has to be a sync when you're like working. So if it's your friend, then it's the best thing. But also, like, when I say friend, it also has to be from a very uh, like, even in a professional scenario, that friendship needs to, like, stand
But yeah,
that
like
way.
discuss the vision and discuss what you want to build together on a very long term, like what you see in 10 years, in 15 years, and see if they match and see if you're on the same page with it.
Yeah, so as you like, interest is the most key important factor while choosing your partner. This is your
I think like interest ranging from everything, even from like something like pop culture or music. If your interests align, even better.
Yeah, I mean,
that
there
could
are
help.
there are like hours sometimes through the day where both of us just sit and play the PS.
Yeah.
So
Like we are ready for it right now.
so yeah. So I mean, that has to happen, like, and as long as you're working together and you're also chilling together also after then. So because it takes time, and with time is when these other blocks kind of fall into place.
I mean, these are all plus. They are add-ons. If you find all these
Okay.
add-ons in your co-founder, that will be much better.
Thank you, Advis,
Right.
and Aditya
You've
too for
answered
giving
your
me a
question.
Okay, so I think we are done with the question answer round also. We are almost towards the end of the session. We just had too many things to talk about today. We talked about, I mean, the changing face of reality TV with Shark Tank being, well received by audience. And I hope entrepreneurship reaches our households now and we get over watching the same old serials and actually invest our time in watching something like Shark Tank India and the coming episodes and the seasons of it. We talked about two friends just starting out with a research project and actually going on Shark Tank India and getting an offer from all seven sharks. They choose a particular offer, they're happy with it, they're going ahead with it. So I think it was a beautiful session. I think this was the most engaging session we've had, and people were actually really looking forward to this session. They wanted to talk to you. They actually wanted to see people come out from their television screens to their laptop screens and actually, on their Microsoft Teams that they've been attending classes on all this while. So it was beautiful to have you all. If you all have the last address for the audience, please go ahead. And after that, we can just conclude the session.
Yeah, I mean, like, thank you so much for having us over here. We were very stoked about the entire session, and because we've also not really done this before. Like, this year has just been a year of first time things, just going around. So we've been playing by it with it as such, and it was amazing, like, talking to you all, because when we were over there, we didn't really have so much that we were studying in this space. We just, like, we had our research topic, we had the vision, and then, like I said, there was a trial and error method behind that. But of course, these kind of skills and expertise that you gain in this stage are very crucial, and will the sooner you start with it is the better, because the more time you have to give for it, and it is going to take time, especially if you're setting up a business.
Just be patient. Yeah, just be patient with it.
Thank you so much. Like, it was such a amazing experience to talk to everyone, address everyone.
Okay, so thank you so
I
much.
literally didn't think we'll end up so much, but it was a lot of fun though. Yeah.
Thank you so much. We are happy that you liked being a part of this and you liked addressing our audience today. So with that, we come to an end to the session. I would like to hand over the platform to Tripti Sharma ma'am for the vote of thanks. Ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Gautami. So, on behalf of the Symbiosis College of Arts and Commerce, I, Mrs. Tripti Sharma, Assistant Professor for Commerce, would like to propose the vote of thanks for the interactive session with our startup co-founders, the talk show with Shark Tank finalists. So, I share my sincere gratitude towards our speakers for accepting to be a part of this immensely mesmerizing talk show that we had. I am really grateful I'm really grateful for the wonderful program, which was made so lively by our dear guests, Mr. Advait Inamke and Mr. Aditya Rai, the founders of Nomad Food Project. Now, from creating a business out of a research, then starting out with condiments which are new for India, to finding target market by researching the metro cities of India for like ready to eat bacon, bacon jam, and a lot more with it. You began something which was absolutely new at that time and kind of created a path for other businesses to get into similar lines. Using Facebook for your marketing, then performance marketing using Instagram, etc., etc., putting content on how to use your product, and doing that for the last 2 years is absolutely a commitment. The process of being on Shark Tank, being a journey of 6 to 8 months, is a really long time. And at this stage of your business, being so humble that you say that multiple 15 plus pages of forms that you fill and then shooting videos and everything was a learning process surely tells us about your patience, understanding the rigor of being into Shark Tank as well. And reaching to the studio round in front of the sharks absolutely is something amazing. Also, you spoke about the reality process of the due diligence, that is, which is kind of unknown to a lot of people, and telling us that you actually had to convert your LLP into a private limited thing. So, being passionate about something that does drive you into hard work, smart work, and it has to have an output of real numbers as well. So, your passion of bacon has to be, something that I would say you want bacon to be kind of synonymous to nomad food projects, and I'm sure that is definitely going to happen on the global platform with the investors that you have. You also, I'm sure, have helped a lot of our students learn a lot through your journey as a business and as a participant at the Shark Tank. I would also like to thank RUSA, that is Rashtriya Uchitar Shikshan Abhiyan, for funding this talk show. I would like to extend my gratitude towards our ever-encouraging principal, Dr. Rishikesh Soman, our supportive vice principal, Dr. Tessie Taradir, our efficient IQAC coordinator, Dr. Anil Aragle, registrar, Mrs. Gandali Parulekar, and our IT team, Mr. Nitin and Nasir. I am also thanking the head of Institutions Innovation Council and the Center of Innovation for Entrepreneurship, Dr. Shirayou Bhakre, for all her efforts, and the entire team of both the organizations for the execution of the talk show, and of course, all our faculty members. I would also have a big thank you to the backbone of organizing the program, that is our student committee. We had Gautami Rane, Astha Kumar, Divyanshu, Varun Manomohan, Varun Deshpande, Atharva Tidke, Manish Agarwal, Anushka Pawar, Nidhi Singh, Anmol Singh, Advait Lubri, and the entire student team as such. And of course, thanks a lot to our attendees for being an amazing and interactive audience. I hereby declare the end of session. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.